Hello, everybody. Welcome to Band This, the show where I take a look at a piece of art and make an argument as to why I think somebody would have the audacity to make incredibly stupid arguments as to why it should be either outright banned or at least made some good choice cuts. Today I am looking at the 1950 telling of Jack the Ripper. I'm not sure how many Jack the Ripper films there are offhand, or which ones came first, but this is one of them, 1959. And I'm more or less talking about the UK version. The US version is a little different. I don't know how much, except I know the end is made in Technicolor, which, would make things more vivid during the climax and a bit more grisly. The UK, it's entirely black and white. I don't know what else, other variations. For all I know, the US could be a little bit more poof. This is the same year Psycho came out, and that film really pushed the boundaries of, what was acceptable at the time to the Hays Code, such as, more on-screen murders and flushing toilets. That was a historical moment in cinematic history. Psycho. The first time we see a flushing toilet. History, everybody. Censorship. Flushing toilets at one time were banned. That's the whole point of the show. That's a perfect example of the slippery slope. People say it doesn't, but yeah, it does. If you can't show bathrooms for fear of offending somebody because of bowel movements, then you have some problems. Anyways, what's so bad about this movie? Well, considering it's about Jack the Ripper, obviously there's going to be violence. But I'm not going to go that easy route. I am going to make something a little bit more difficult and ultimately a lot more stupid. Like, a lot more stupid. If anybody were to make an argument like this, I highly implore the law enforcement to look into this person. Look under their floorboards to make sure they don't keep their stashes of bodies underneath. As here's the argument I am going with. Serial killers. The fact that it uses people who like to kill as a villain could be deemed offensive to people who like to kill because they like to kill. It's kind of like, making fun of mental disabilities, which, people who'd go like to do things like that, definitely most people would consider it to be some sort of mental problem. You'd be like, that guy is a serial killer. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's kind of what I'm going with. It's like equating it with like homosexuality and trying to destigmatize it by declassifying it as a mental disorder because it offends somebody who fits within that category, and they feel demonized because it's classified as a mental disorder, something that should be shunned upon. Of course, going around slashing people's throats, most people would consider to be, like 110 times worse than, what the gays would do. Well, I'm sure there are some people who think it's about on the same level. If you especially go in the, more biblical route of, that, all sins as being seen equal. Well, I think there's nuance with that, but I'm relatively young in my walk in faith, but that's just something, that I'm going with. In case you couldn't tell from that last moment, I do identify as Christian. Or, not necessarily identify as Christian, but I associate it. I follow the teachings of Christ. I accept him as a savior, and I think there very well could be a God. I'm just going with that. I could be wrong. I won't know until I kick it. Anyways, I think I've talked enough about why somebody definitely not in their right mind would make as to why it would be censored. And what do I think of the film itself? It was okay. I'm going to have to watch the US version sometime. But with this, it was fine. It's kind of like a prototype slasher film if you think about it. You don't really see the killer. It's kind of a lot of, like, if I remember, like a lot of hand shots. Kind of like like what you'd see in a giallo. Mostly killing, done to women. Obviously, it's Jack the Ripper. I mean, although I would say it'd be kind of going against history if it made it kill men, but some people don't like the idea of history if they find it offensive, so they want to rewrite the ideas. Like the whole Battlefield 50 controversy last year. Of having, women with cybergenetic hands and red hair or something in the game in World War II. History. Yeah, this film was okay. Just kind of wanted to grab it because it was cheap. Limited edition. Black Friday. And Severin is starting to rival my Criterion. Well, no, it's got a long way to my Criterion collection, but I'm picking up a lot of Severin movies on speculation, which is something I generally only did prior to discovering Severin with Criterion. Most of the other films, there's something that I've seen already and know I liked. Criterion, I like Criterion, and I very seldom get a bad pick. Occasionally I get some stinkers, such as Armageddon, but usually I haven't gone wrong, and I like Severin. They don't necessarily make or distribute my types of movies all the time, but I think every film deserves to be preserved. Unless, of course, it's, like snuff or pedophilia or something. But that's just my opinion. And I think most people's opinions, despite what some people might want you to think. Yeah, if you like horror, if you want to see, like a pre-slasher, people usually talk about Psycho, being like a proto slasher and Black Christmas being like the first slasher. It's different. It's interesting to see kind of a transition, you know. For the film of its time, you know, it has a pretty high body count, but concerning the source material, it's kind of expected to be the case. I don't know, can't really recommend it or not recommend it. I mean, if it seems like it might be your thing, then I can't tell you not to see it. I mean, most of these videos I talk about half the time, I'm kind of indecisive anyways, but you know, most of the indecisive ones are the ones I bought on speculation, like my video nasties or something like this. Or Robin Hood that I did recently. Anyways, that's about it for this one. If you're interested in Jack the Ripper, go ahead, check it out. But otherwise, I can't necessarily say, in my opinion, it's a landmark film. But it's definitely an interesting watch considering when it would have been made and whatnot. As this film, you know, would push the envelope about as much as Psycho would have. So there's that going for it. Anyways, that's about it for this one. I've been going on for 11 minutes. I'll catch you in the next one. Check me out on Minds and BitChute, Stardust, link in the description for all those and below. And I will see you in the next one. Take it easy, people. Take it easy, people.